Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast, where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen, if you were searching for some weirdo Power Rangers porn like I did the other day, or you were looking for some really hot gay porn with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal getting at it in a spacesuits or something, and you're not like a movie fan, but you accidentally stumbled across this podcast, I'm going to convince you to be one. I just fucked up that intro, but that's okay because I'm a little sick. Welcome once again, guys. This is episode 175. This is like a midweek episode. This is good. This is crazy. I don't think I've ever done this before. Or I'm still going to have one on Sunday. Anyways, what I do on this podcast, if you're new, welcome. What I usually do is I look over some movie news that dropped throughout the week, give my commentary on them, go over some trailers that dropped throughout the week, and have my reviews of movies that come out on the previous Friday, and then, of course, box office results for the weekend. A little change for this week. This episode is going up today on Wednesday, and I will have my normal episode on Sunday for this coming Sunday. So there will be no box office results for this episode, but I will go over the opening weekend numbers for the two movies I'm reviewing. I will split the news and the trailers up. So I have like a list of a bunch of news stories and some trailers and whatnot. I'm going to do half on this episode and the other half on Sunday because most of these are coming out through the week as I'm doing this episode. So I just want to kind of split it up and not have all on one and have none on the other. So that's the format for today, guys, on episode 100. 175. I will go over some movie news, some trailers that dropped, and my reviews of the 2017 version of Power Rangers. Excuse me, I don't want to get sued. Saban's Power Rangers, fucking A. And, of course, my review of Life. And that's it. So, and I must preface this by saying, as you guys can hear in my voice, I'm a little sick, got a little cold going on, which is not the most ideal thing to have when you do an audio podcast. I know it's fucking weird, right? And hey, listen, you know, since I am a little sick, you're going to get like that smooth, Barry White, like sexy-ass, deep voice from me. And then when we get back on Sunday, you're going to hear like the usual 12-year-old high-pitched sexy voice. And you're probably really confused right now as to where I'm going with this because you're like, your voice isn't sexy in general. It's like, okay. So yeah, sorry for the sickness, guys. It is what it is. So let's start with some movie news, guys. The ones I picked out for this episode, and I'll do the rest on Sunday. O'Shea Jackson Jr. Probably like, who the fuck is this guy? All right, so he's Ice Cube's son, and you're probably thinking to yourself once again, holy shit. First of all, Ice Cube has a kid, and second of all, how come he's not named Ice Cube Jr.? I know. It's really weird, but I think for legal reasons, you can't really name yourself Ice Cube. It just, you know, he does have a normal name. So, anyways, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ice Cube's kid, who was known for playing his dad in Straight Outta Compton, which I thought he did a very good job, and I really liked the whole cast of that movie, and I'm glad that most of these actors from that movie are getting a lot of opportunities, including Jason Mitchell, who played Eazy-E, and Corey Hawkins? I forgot. Anyways, he was on the 24 show, and he's also in like Kong Skull Island, and he's been in a lot of different movies and stuff, so they're all kind of just branching out. Anyways, Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., is going to join the cast of Godzilla King of Monsters. This is the Godzilla sequel that will come out in 2019. Now, it seems like I've been reporting on this for the past like month now because they added Kyle Chandler, Vera Farmiga, Millie Bobby Brown. So it seems like they're really getting a nice solid group of actors and actresses together for this film to really just kind of support the awesomeness that is Godzilla. Because let's face facts. We're not going to go to these movies to be like, oh shit, that was a great performance from O'Shea Jackson Jr. No one's going to do that. So we go to these movies because we want to see monsters fight. However, if you have a bunch of these actors who are capable of doing what they're doing and doing it very well, it just makes the movie even better. It's just kind of like an added little bonus. But this one's very interesting because Straight Outta Compton, that is the only thing I've ever seen him act in, and of course he played his dad. So I don't know whether like that was like all him, or if it was just because he's been around his dad ever since his birth and was like, I can imitate my dad. So I don't know what his range is like, but it'll be very interesting to see him outside of something that isn't produced by his dad. I'm not a fan of nepotism whatsoever, but he was the right choice to play his dad in that movie. So, because I was totally against it at first, but when you watch the movie and you realize that he actually meshes well with all of the actors in the NWA group portrayed in the movie, it actually works out. So I'm excited to see his range. I'm excited to see where he goes in his career, if he'll be snarky and funny like his dad, or is he going to be more of a dramatic actor? Who knows? Time will tell. But it's this is a good story for me because I just want to see a little bit more from him. So I think this is the perfect one to do it when your movie's focusing on a CGI monster. You can definitely try to work on your acting there. So so that's it for that news. And the last piece of news, guys, because like I said, I'm going to be splitting it up between today and Sunday. Two new titles have been revealed because CinemaCon is going on, and a lot of stuff is dropping, including an early screening of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. So these two new titles have been released, and the first of which is Jumanji, and its title is going to be Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, which for the very first trailer that drops, Guns N' Roses is going to be fucking blaring in the background as soon as that title pops up. You fucking know it's going to happen, so do not deny. Do not sit there and go, I don't know, it's got like a 30%. No! There's no 30% chance. It's a 100% chance. They're going to use that fucking song. It's going to be amazing. We're going to all be all pumped. Anyways, the synopsis for the movie is video game simulation. I think Jumanji is a video game, and the people that play the game, their avatars get flung into the game type of deal instead of a board game. So that's kind of the synopsis. It's not the... I didn't read that properly, but I mean, you guys got the gist of it. But anyways, Welcome to the Jungle. It's whatever as a title. It's not really anything that makes me go, oh shit, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, baby. No, it's kind of like, okay, that's fine. I really only care that they call it Jumanji. The subtitle, don't really care for, but it's not like awful. It's just kind of like, they could have done without it, but whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what they do with this Jumanji movie. I'm a huge fan of the Robin Williams movie, rest in peace. And I grew up with that movie in the 90s, and so the movie holds a special place in my heart. So seeing this movie kind of come to fruition with The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black and stuff and Karen Gilliam, it sounds like it's going to be really fun. It's just a nice, wholesome family adventure, especially after Dwayne Johnson coming off of, Fate of the Furious. I hate saying that title. And of course, Baywatch. It'll be nice to see him kind of go do a family picture. Because you don't want Dwayne Johnson to just say a bunch of dick jokes all the time. I mean, it's just gotta have a little mix. But yeah, title, it's whatever. But the Jumanji synopsis sounds like a lot of fun. And the last piece of news / another title revealed is the Wreck-It Ralph sequel is finally coming. Thank you, after 5 fucking years. Jesus. And it doesn't even come out until next year. So we'll be waiting 6 years since the original, and the sequel will be called Ralph Breaks the Internet. Yes, 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 yes. They said they were going to go in a more internet route with this franchise. The first one takes place in arcades, and so, him going into the internet makes total sense. Ralph Breaks the Internet, it's a great title. I'm excited to see the sequel. Wreck-It Ralph was one of my favorite kind of newer Disney Renaissance movies ever since Tangled came out in 2010. That is my favorite one that they've done so far. And then Zootopia. Like, Zootopia and Wreck-It Ralph are so close to me, but I love Wreck-It Ralph so much. So that's it for that news, guys. So yeah, and now we'll do the rest of the news on Sunday's show, and just give you a sneak preview. I will be talking about the whole Aaron Sorkin thing with comic book movies, and of course, speaking of comic book movies, an R-rated Venom and separate universe from the MCU. It's okay. I don't want to talk about that. I will let you wait until Sunday because I am a dick. No, you gotta split it up, guys. All right, so jumping into some trailers that dropped throughout this week. And by the way, before we jump into the trailers, let me know down below about the news stories and whatnot. I would like to hear your opinion. All right, let's get into some trailers. Now, I wrote down a shit ton of trailers, right? And we're not even done through the week. So the way I did this is I just wrote down a bunch. I'm just going to kind of alternate and just do the first one I wrote down and then do the third one and stuff and do the rest on Sunday because there were so many trailers that dropped. Yeah, I just don't, got to have some for the normal Sunday show. All right, so the first one is 3 billboards outside of Ebby, Missouri, and this one is from Michael McDonald? Holy shit, I forgot the fucking director's name. Anyways, this is the guy behind 7 Psychopaths and In Bruges, 2 very good dark comedies from what I hear. I have not seen In Bruges yet. I've not seen 7 Psychopaths, but those trailers to both of those movies kill me every single time because they were so goddamn funny. Now, with this one, we have Frances McDormand, and there's 3 billboards outside of this little town that basically say, hey, my daughter's missing, can you go find her? And, the police aren't really doing anything, so Frances McDormand tries to, interfere and be like, yo, do your fucking job, and it's really funny. Like, that trailer caught me off guard, because I had no idea what the movie was about, but everyone was raving about it on Twitter and Facebook, so I was like, okay, let me check this out. Oh, I think his name is Martin McDowell. Martin McDowell? That sounds a little bit more correct. I will get the name eventually. But anyways, this trailer looks really, really fucking funny. It just looks like it's kind of touch upon, the police state and just, kind of in modern times, but put this like dark comedic spin on it. I love the fast-paced energy of the trailer. Frances McDormand looks like she could get Oscar nominated just because of how fucking funny she is and how just dead on her timing is. So, guys, if you're into like dark comedies and stuff and really just kind of interesting independent films, like, please go check this one out because the films that he's made so far, they do not make that much money at the box office. So I really hope this one gets a boost. I'm excited to see it. I will go see it the first chance I get because of this trailer. It is that good. And it's the Red Band trailer too, so they drop a lot of F-bombs and stuff, and it's so good. It just fits in with that universe so well. All right, next trailer. Let's see. Let's do the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. This is the second trailer to drop, and it's 2.5 minutes, and they showed way too much. Now, am I excited for this movie? Of course I am. I'm excited to see Spider-Man and see what, how he applies to the MCU. And I'm excited to see Michael Keaton as the Vulture. It's very interesting to see him, be Batman in the late 80s, early 90s, and then be in a movie about retired superhero movies, and then now he's the villain in one. It's just, what a great fucking career. So yeah, I like the trailer. It's fine. I'm not like, I like Spider-Man, and I'm excited to see the movie, but I'm not like a diehard fan like some people I know. But I'm really excited to see it. I'm excited to see, like I said, how he interacts with other characters inside the universe. Because from what we got in Civil War, it was a nice little kind of taste, a little nugget, and I really enjoyed what I saw. So seeing him interact with Tony Stark makes total sense to kind of bridge that gap between the Spider-Man universe and MCU. Now, a lot of people have a problem with Tony Stark being like the prominent thing in the trailer. I agree. There's a lot of him, and I'm wondering like how big of a role he actually has. I don't know if it's going to be like, a second lead character, because he does get into a suit, so I'm wondering if he fights with Spider-Man to take down the Vulture. And I mean, I agree that there was a little bit too much Iron Man, and I'm hoping he's not in the movie that much, because you want to have this focus on Peter Parker and focus on Spider-Man. You are relaunching this character for a third time. I understand that you want to put Iron Man in there to kind of, like I said, bridge the gap and let people know, hey, this is in the same universe. That's totally cool. I get that. But do not have him as the second lead. It needs to be about Peter Parker, and we need to have us really care about this new Spider-Man that we're probably going to be associated with for the next 10 years at least. So, unless this one totally flops, but I don't think it will. I don't know. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is pretty bad. So yeah, I want them to focus on Peter Parker and the actual character. I like what Tom Holland did in Captain America Civil War. I thought he portrayed a teenager very well, because guess what? The guy's only like 20 years old versus like Tobey fucking Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who were damn near 30 when they did their first ones. But this one, Tom Holland, he looks like a kid, he sounds like a kid. Every time when you see Peter Parker, like in a comic book panel, or when you read an issue, you kind of imagine, you kind of hear his voice as you're reading it, and Tom Holland has nailed it. So just make a movie about Spider-Man, and you're going to be good. And it looks like a good movie, but I do think they showed too much, and I'm a little worried about Iron Man's involvement. So that's it for that trailer. And the next trailer, let's do the Ferdinand. This fucking title sounds awful with a cold. Ferdinand, the big old talking bull movie. It comes from Blue Sky Studios, 20th Century Fox, and the reason why they dropped this trailer is so they could put it in front of Boss Baby that comes out this Friday. First of all, it's a teaser, so there's really nothing much to the story that you can kind of grasp. It's just a bunch of imagery and a bunch of jokes. Second thing, it doesn't come out until December. Okay? I mean, I get it, that's why it's a teaser, but most people are going to fucking forget it as soon as they walk out of the Boss Baby, because the Boss Baby is god-awful. Whoops, I spoiled that. Yeah, Ferdinand, I remember reading the story as a kid. It's just very weird to see it now in animated form and kind of have like that Ice Age animation. And what's also even weirder is John Cena playing the voice of Ferdinand. So he's the main character. He's the person that you're following throughout the entire movie. That's interesting. As I was watching the trailer, it wasn't like awful or anything that he was providing his voice to this character. It kind of fits, so I understand why they went with him. So I'm kind of curious to see how he does, to be honest with you, in his first kind of full length. Like, he is in the front. He is full frontal. Not like that. But if you want to see John Cena full frontal, I'm sure there's some porn reenactment somewhere. Anyways, Ferdinand, yeah, like I said, with John Cena taking the helm, I'm wondering, like, if he crushes it, I wonder if he'll become like the next Dwayne Johnson. Because with Dwayne Johnson and John Cena, like, they both come from WWE. Dwayne Johnson did his movies and he started rising up in popularity. John Cena has done the same, except he has not risen in popularity in his movies. Now, he is the most popular person in WWE. He is the face of the WWE right now. But he's been in some movies like The Marine and whatnot, and 12 Rounds and whatnot, but no one really went to go see those, and they kind of tainted the box office. I'm wondering if he kills it in animated form with this movie. I'm wondering if more studios will give him a chance and be like in side roles, like what he does in like Sisters or Trainwreck, because I actually thought he was pretty funny. He's got some pretty great comedic timing, just like with Dwayne Johnson and whatnot. But I'm wondering if this Ferdinand movie will propel him to take more lead roles. It'll be very interesting. As a teaser trailer, the animation looks fine. It looks cute, I guess, but it doesn't come out until December. But I understand why they dropped it this week, because it's going to play in front of the Boss Baby. Makes total sense. It's the same distribution company. I get it, but still, it's so far away. The next trailer is, this is an HBO trailer, and I always like to bring this up because I just love the show, and you guys know that I'm biased on my show, so if I love a show, I'm going to totally just fucking say whatever I want on my show, because this is my platform, and I will tell you guys to watch shows, and you'll be like, fuck off with these TV shows. But these trailers, if I've seen the shows and I'm really excited for, I will address them and see if anyone else feels the same. The Silicon Valley Season 4 official trailer dropped, actually today. And I watched it. It gives a little bit more of the story and stuff and where we're going to really go with these characters. If you guys have not been watching Silicon Valley, it is hilarious. What a great, smart comedy. That's what it is. It's just a really entertaining comedy that's got some really kind of interesting aspects of like suspense almost. Like, it's just, some of that stuff in the show, you're like hold on the edge of your seat. You're like, what the fuck is going to happen type deal. So I really like the trailer. I can't wait for season 4, and I believe it comes out starts April 23rd, and will go weekly on HBO. All right, no more TV talk. Sorry about that. Next trailer is let's do an inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power. Now, this is the sequel to the Inconvenient Truth. This is the Al Gore climate change documentary, and this one, the sequel, opens up with President Trump and just denying climate change, doing what he does. And Al Gore is up there, narrating like, we need to stand up, we need to fix this before it goes wrong for future generations and whatnot. It's a documentary on climate change, and it really does kind of paint, the White House and President Trump as the villains. I totally agree with that. I think what they're doing in that administration is very wrong in terms of where they want to cut costs and really kind of just damage this planet, which has never really, to kind of go on a little side tangent, I've never really understood that thought process. Think about it. If you want to take over the world and be like this James Bond villain like, the White House administration is doing right now, you want to take over the world and whatnot, why are you damaging the planet as you're doing it? Don't you need to live as well? Like, that's what's never really made sense to me, is that they're willing to damage the planet for profit, but yet they're living on the planet too. So if you damage the water, you damage your water. You damage the air, you're damaging your air as well. So I've never kind of understood that. And maybe this documentary will kind of wake people up and be like, yeah, this is a real thing. We're dooming our planet. And I don't know how much longer our species will have. And I know in my lifetime, I will probably see, some pretty major climate change effects. But, it's the next generation of like children and stuff that are going to really kind of, face the brunt of this. It's not, people living now. And I actually do like this trailer quite a bit, actually. I think it's, like I said, just like with the first one, Al Gore he is out there making his stance going, yo, climate change is real. Please, wake the fuck up, America. And I like the fact that he's going across the country, still giving his seminars and really kind of just teaching people about this and whatnot. So whether you believe in it or not, this is a good trailer. And maybe if you watch this, maybe you'll change your mind if you were against it. Or maybe if you're for it, maybe you'll learn something that you didn't know. So, yeah, I really like the trailer quite a bit. So, all right, and the last trailer, I know I said that was the last one, but I'll do one more, and I'll save the other three for Sunday. The next one is Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. This one stars Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne, a.k.a. Shaky McHips in Suicide Squad, Enchantress. Anyways, it's directed by Luc Besson, who did The Professional, The Fifth Element, and Lucy, modern one. And this one is like kind of the full-length trailer to kind of show us a little bit more of the story and the fact that like all these like planets are like in the same kind of like little sack, I guess, and they all share their intelligence and really get along. And there's a threat that comes, and Dane DeHaan's character Valerian and Carol, what was her name? Caroline? I forgot. Cara Delevingne's character. They have to go save this nutsack of planets or whatever. I do appreciate the fact that this trailer like kind of goes into the story a little bit more. I'm still not sold on the movie in general. It just does seem like a lot of flash with no substance, but we'll see. Maybe that's just what they wanted to do to get people to watch it, because it does have impressive visuals. I do like the color palette of the trailer. It does have like this really imaginative kind of creative flow, like a Guillermo del Toro film. So I appreciate it on that level, and maybe that's what they're showing in front of people to kind of get them to come into the movie, and maybe there'll be like a nice rich story to kind of support the visuals. But for right now, it looks good. I'm still not sold on just everything else, but we'll see. And Cara Delevingne does kind of frighten me just a hair. I did not see Paper Towns, and I just did not like her in Suicide Squad, so it's very weird on that front. However, when you counteract that with Dane DeHaan, who is an excellent, did you hear that voice crack? Excellent actor. Disregard Amazing Spider-Man 2, going back to that movie now. But Place Beyond the Pines, like this guy, I thought he was going to go places. Like I thought he was going to shoot up as one of the best actors working today with films like The Place Beyond the Pines. And so when he does films like this in Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's like, dang, what are you doing, man? I know you got it in you. Like, I hope it works out for Valerian, because they're throwing a lot of money at this, and I wouldn't be surprised if this tanks foreign and domestic, that Luc Besson just closes Europa doors because he ain't making another thing again. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it does. Anyways, that's it for the trailers, guys. What did you guys think of the trailers? Comment in the place for my face, let me know. And on Sunday, as of right now, I will go over the trailer for A Ghost Story. What did I think of that? I will have my review of Justice League, the first full official trailer, the It trailer that just dropped today, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Those will be the 4 trailers I'll be talking about on Sunday, unless something else drops and I'll be talking about something else. But what did I think of these 4 trailers? I guess we'll just have to find out. And I believe Joel will be on Sunday, so you'll get his thoughts as well. All right, guys. The news and the trailers. Sweep them out of the way. Get them the fuck out of here. All right. Let's dive into some movies. Now, I know you guys missed me. Probably not, but that's okay. You know, last Thursday I had the episode. It was over a bunch of indie films, and I told you I'd be missing out over Power Rangers and Life throughout the weekend because I'll be gone. So I told you guys when I got back, I would watch them both and review them. So here we are, my reviews of Power Rangers. Excuse me, I don't want to get sued. Saban's Power Rangers. Fuck! And Life. So what should I start out with first? Let's start with Life, because I actually saw that movie twice. I saw it on Saturday with my girlfriend, my brother, and his girlfriend. And then, of course, I saw it last night because I already purchased my ticket. And I fell asleep the first 20 minutes just because I was tired. And I watched the rest. So I watched it about 1.75 times. Life. So if you guys don't know what this one's about, it is a space crew in a space station who get a soil sample from Mars, and they start to kind of see what's in it, and then it starts, it starts as a cell, and it starts moving, and then it grows into this creature that takes over the whole station and hunts people down in that station one by one. All right. I didn't know what to expect going into this. I've seen the trailer a million times because every single time I was in a new Sony movie, they would have the same fucking trailer. Like, they only had one trailer for this movie. They would just play it over and over again. I'm like, okay, Sony, I'll go see it. Christ, just calm the fuck down. So I go in there, and I know that Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson are in this. I'm like, okay, it's got a nice little cast. It's got an interesting premise. It's from the writers of Deadpool. Shit, could be good. I watch it. I walk out. And I go, you know what? This movie wasn't that bad. And I don't understand what people are bitching about. I do have problems with it. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it is a solid creature feature. I kind of dug it. So let's get real and break down Life. No, not actual life. The movie Life. All right. So let's start with the writing and directing. As far as the actual writing goes, this is where I actually have most of my problems. As far as the story goes, the story's fine. It's there to service as a serial killer type of format where there's a threat and it picks off one by one of the group of people that it's chasing after. I do like the kind of look and design of the creature. I do think that it is quite scary that stuff like this does exist out there. I do believe in aliens. I believe in some type of like life form outside of Earth, and if it's something that looks like this, fucking get off me, please. I do like the alien. I do like the kind of presence it does kind of carry with it. It does look cute and cuddly, but then it turns into this like ravenous, like bloodthirsty creature. So that's kind of cool. And like I said, the actual story itself is just getting from one character to the other in terms of picking them off. It is exciting in some parts. It's very riveting, very suspenseful. However, this is where it kind of falls apart. The characters. First of all, the characters are not that developed at all. They're literally like basic, thin characters. Case in point, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. The only thing we know about him is that he hates people on Earth. Rebecca Ferguson. The only thing we know is that she is a doctor and she misses her dad. Ryan Reynolds. The only thing we know is that he sounds like Deadpool throughout the movie. There's really nothing to him. Another one has a baby about to be born. And that's about it. And the other two don't really matter, to be honest with you. So, yeah, the characters are really weak, and that's kind of a problem when you have these type of movies. And I'm not saying that this is supposed to be like on some deep, thought-provoking level with this movie, but movies like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, you have an interesting villain and interesting gore to where you don't really give a shit if they're just chopping up teenagers. With this one, you kind of want, like, these scientists and pilots and stuff, you want them to be, like, first of all, smart, and you want them to be intriguing. Like, you want to actually care about them just a hair. So when this alien is picking them off, it's like, yeah, like, I'm a little sad that person's gone. I never felt that once throughout the entire film, but it was interesting in some of the kills in terms of how, the alien would kill these people and whatnot. So I thought the deaths were creative, but the lack of caring between the characters, I did not. And the last thing with the whole writing of this film, oh my God, these characters are fucking idiots. Listen, I don't mind if characters make stupid mistakes in films because humanity is built on mistakes. Like, we as humans have mistakes all the time. I get that. You're going to have flubs. But some of the decisions of these characters are so idiotic where you are sitting there going, wow, that was literally just a plot device for that to happen so we can have something else happen in a different scene. Because when you have this scene chasing after you, you figure everyone should be together, right? Like, in the same fucking group. There's stuff like that where they separate. There's also stuff where they say some idiotic shit. Should we let the alien back in or should we shoot it back in space? Now, I get it. There's a dilemma to where, like, you don't want it to, like, crash on Earth and whatnot, and you rather just keep it inside. I get that. But there's just some, like, like I said, I can't say anymore because I'll get into spoiler territory. Let's just say all of the characters do something dumb. And it's like, I can't believe these are actually, like, scientists and doctors and pilots and stuff. Like, you figure they'd be a little bit smarter than this. Like, especially the initial kind of, like, formation of the alien. You're like, okay, I know what I would do. But something happens, and then something else happens to where it kind of, like, rolls the dominoes down the fucking hill and just sets off all these events when you could have prevented that. It's just, some idiotic decisions just plague throughout the movie, and it just got annoying, to be honest with you. It just kind of made it, like, unwatchable, even though I still enjoy it. Like, as I said, it's a solid creature feature of just, this creature killing off people. I know it's, like, really mean for me to say and really cruel, but I really enjoyed it on that aspect, and there were some, like I said, from some very good, like, suspenseful moments. That was like, damn, that was really effective. I really enjoyed that. And really kind of got under my skin, and I visualized myself into that situation and be like, oh yeah, I don't want to be in this situation. It's pretty terrifying. All right, and I forgot to mention the end of the movie. It is something you can see coming from a mile away, but I thought it was still effective because I like the music to this film. So, yeah, I just had to say that. Directing. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a Daniel Espinosa movie, but I thought this was a solid film, directing-wise. Like I said, there is moments of tension and building up suspense within the scene to really kind of set the dread on top of your shoulders as you're watching this, and you don't know where the fuck this alien thing is at. So, I do appreciate on that level. But like I said, some of the characters and stuff is just, no. So the decisions that were made were pretty fucking dumb. But I think as a movie that's set in space with, like, zero gravity and stuff, I think the director did a competent job delivering a pretty decent little thriller. I mean, yes, I do realize that it's taken from movies like Alien and Gravity and maybe even a little bit of Sunshine, but this director does make it all of his own, and just, it's not like, like I said, thought-provoking, whatever. It's just a decent little, like, creature thriller. So I don't fault him for that. It's just he made it the best he could with the very thin script that it had. And there were some effective moments, like I said, with the tension, the scares, and even some of the gore and the violence. I was like, oh, damn, fuck. Like, some of the things that the alien would do to some of the passengers, I was like, shit. Like, that was really graphic. Leading into that, one of my favorite deaths, because it actually kind of affected me a little bit, was Ryan Reynolds. Sorry if that was a spoiler. I don't really consider it a spoiler. It's one of those things where, like, you kind of know that most of these people will die. But so I apologize for that. It accidentally slipped. But his scene actually required some pretty good acting. And I thought he was really convincing. Like, it looked like he was actually, like, in pain. And I was like, yeah, Ryan, like, this is why you're a good actor. And so I really liked that scene from him. Everything else was like he was just basically playing Deadpool in space. Jake Gyllenhaal was fine. Rebecca Ferguson was fine. They both have a couple dramatic scenes and whatnot. And then everyone else was fine. The problem is, you could have literally gotten anyone to do this movie with, like, Jake Gyllenhaal and Rebecca Ferguson and Ryan Reynolds. You didn't need these big name people to do this movie because they were kind of pointless. Like, their characters were so thinly drawn out and whatnot. It didn't really make a difference if Jake Gyllenhaal was there or not. And I love Jakey G. But the problem is, like, I could watch this movie with other people and it wouldn't really affect me. Like, he didn't really add, like, that extra level of like, emotional weight, that extra acting that you would expect from a Jake Gyllenhaal or even Ryan Reynolds. It was just kind of like middle of the road, like it was serviceable for the story type of deal. And they got them in the movie to service the story and to market the movie to try to bring people in. So, yeah, I actually thought some of the scenes in the acting were pretty decent. Some of them were good in terms of what was happening on screen. But yeah, sorry for that spoiler, guys. It's not really a big spoiler. It's like I said, that most people probably won't make it off of the ship. But I still won't, like I said, spoil the ending, which I think is pretty effective, and I really kind of like the way it ends. So yeah, that's it for the acting. Cinematography wise, and just the way the ship looks overall, I thought it looked pretty good. Actually, I do like the set of the film. It all takes place in zero G, with in the same station and whatnot. I thought all the sets looked really great. It really kind of added a claustrophobia element to it, even though I knew it was trying to be like Alien. It does kind of freak me out when you're in these, like, enclosed spaces and you're in zero G and there's this thing coming after you. So it's kind of terrifying. But I thought it was shot competently and well in certain areas. The movie even opens up with the one shot, which I thought was pretty unique because the camera was like just kind of observing these people and their kind of like jobs or whatnot. And, the camera's like floating upside down and kind of going with each character, floating with them with the zero G as they go through hallways and whatnot, which I thought, like I said, was pretty effective and really kind of put you in the mood of the movie and really kind of put you in the mood of being in space yourself. And on top of all that, bleeding into the special effects, so the special effects are good. Like, they're really good. And I was really impressed that they put a lot of effort into that. It looks realistic. It kind of had the level of like a Gravity where, the Earth looked really good, space looked really good, and it just, the stations on the outsides and whatnot looked good. It looked pretty authentic, and I really enjoyed it on that level. So the special effects are really well done, and when you pair that with the cinematography, it does turn out some pretty interesting shots, filmed on the outside of the station. Editing wise, I think it was about an hour and 45. It's actually at the right length because with these types of movies, you want like a little bit in the beginning to set up the conflict. Then you want a little bit for character and whatnot to get to know them, and then you pick them off. And I thought, for the most part, it's a well-paced movie. A lot of people might find the beginning a little slow just because, it doesn't really pick up on the action till about, I'd say like 20 minutes in. But I thought it was interesting enough just because I am always fascinated with space. And like I said, like I like the way it was shot, and I was just kind of curious on how they were filming certain things. So it held my interest pretty well. But I can see where people could get a little bored from the first like 20 minutes. But once they discover this thing in this petri dish, it's kind of like one of those things where you're fascinated, you're curious to see where it goes. So I really enjoyed the pace of it, and like I said, providing some pretty genuine scares and jumps and whatnot. So I was definitely into the movie, and I was definitely into the adventure, even though I found some of the character decisions to be pretty fucking dumb and the end to be predictable, but it didn't really take overall, from the experience. And like I said, with music was really good. I really liked kind of like the sense of dread and kind of like this horror element to it, just really kind of added to some of the scenes. And it was loud and in your face, but I think that was the point. And I really enjoyed it, especially at the very end when they used the same theme and they kind of crank up the volume and really kind of let the bass swell underneath the score. It's wonderful. I actually like the music. So I was debating on this on what to give it, because I do think it is a solid creature feature for the most part, despite its problems. Because I was debating on whether to give it a C+ or a B-. But I think after talking about it, after seeing it a couple times, even though I do think it's solid and there are some good things about it, for the most part, the character things do bother me, and the actors were pretty much pointless in their roles, and there wasn't really anything else to it than just the aliens chasing them down, which I like I said, I'm fine with those movies, but you want a little bit more when it's out in space and whatnot. You want to actually care about them. So I think I'm going to actually choose the C+. So I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying it's a very average movie, but I will give it the slight edge up because I do like I said, I do like the sets. I did like the cinematography. The music was really good, and some of the actual kills were really well done. It really kind of affected me a little bit. I was just like, oh, that's really, no, please don't let that happen to me. So I'll give Life a C+, which is great because I would give my own life a rating of a C+. No, I'm just kidding. My life is pretty good. That sounded like a dick asshole thing to say. I'm sorry. I didn't mean like that. I just meant like, there was a joke. My life is not that depressing. Very fortunate indeed. All right, so let's move on to Saban's Power Rangers. Fucking Saban. I can't believe he forced him to put his fucking name in the title. All right, so Power Rangers. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a 90s kid. I was born in 1990, so from birth year to 10 years old, I was in the 90s. I liked a lot of things. I loved Pokemon. I still have my original 150 cards from the original 150, and I'm very proud of it. I grew up during the Disney Renaissance, where I was at the ripe age of Little Mermaid came out, a year before I was born. Beauty and the Beast came out when I was 1. Aladdin was 2. Lion King was 3. So I had all these movies back to back to really kind of get into my love of movies. I also loved a lot of Nickelodeon shows, Rugrats and Rocko's Modern Life. I was living the high life. But there was always this one show where I was kind of obsessed over. And my dad actually sent me a clip of me dancing around in a blue Power Rangers outfit. And, when you watch that clip, you're like, yeah, I was a big fucking fan of the Power Rangers. Now, I can't tell you how many times I've watched the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. It's cheesy as all hell, just like the show. It's corny. The effects are bad. The acting is bad. But God damn it, I love it so much. It's one of those things where, when you grew up in the 80s, you were a fan of G.I. Joe or Transformers and stuff. This is kind of like my G.I. Joe or Transformers. This is what most 90s kids were into. I love the cheese. I love the fact that they went all the way with the cheese and they didn't have any regrets. They just fucking went balls to the wall crazy. And if you guys have never seen the show, it's about a bunch of teenagers that go to Angel Grove High School, and they discover, something, and it causes them to have abilities, and they are kind of trained and kind of mentored under Zordon, and they have to fight evil like Rita Repulsa and a bunch of other villains. Now, like I said, I am a fan of the show. I love it as a kid. I love it now, even as an adult, just watching it for nostalgia. And I do like it because it's just cheesy as all hell, and you can just have so much fun watching it. This was the show to watch Saturday morning cartoon. Get yourself some fucking cereal and just enjoy yourself. That's the type of show it was. It wasn't thought-provoking. Yes, they would try to dabble into some dramatic elements every now and then, but for the most part, it was just a very entertaining kids show, which even as an adult, you can still kind of enjoy it just for the kind of cheesy, kind of Japanese flavor it's got going on with, like, its fight scenes and using people in suits and whatnot. So it does have, like, different cultures melding together in terms of, Western culture and Japanese culture. So it's a very interesting show to mix the two. When I heard they were doing a Power Rangers movie, Saban's Power Rangers, when I heard they were doing this, I was a little skeptical, not going to lie. I was like, oh my God, Lionsgate's going to sink in so much money into this. No one's going to go see this because you're like, what is this a 90s show? Oh, fuck that. I felt so sorry for it right out of the gate. I was like, oh no. Even as a Power Rangers fan, I'll probably still go see it, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone else cares. So I went into the movie last night. I gotta tell you, and I'm not joking about this. This is not a joke. I'm being dead serious when I say this. Despite some of the problems, I actually had a lot of fun with this movie. It was so entertaining to watch. And to be quite frank with you, besides Lego Batman, maybe John Wick Chapter 2, and of course Logan, that's definitely one of the most fun experiences I've had in the theater so far this year. It was just entertaining as all hell. And I really like it quite a bit. So let's get real and break this down. So let's start with the writing and directing. In terms of the actual writing and the story, I mean, it is what you expect. It's an origin story for this brand, the teenagers coming together, finding the coins. They're the chosen ones. Zordon's like, you're the Power Rangers. Get in your suits. Fight Rita Repulsa. It's not like a story that's like, oh my God, that was a really great spin on the Power Rangers. It's like, that's exactly what we expected out of the Power Rangers. Now, I will say it actually opens up with something kind of ballsy. I'm just like, oh, this is how you're going to open up your movie? Okay, I'm kind of interested now. But for the most part, the story is very simple. It's the Power Rangers gaining to know their powers, training, and then, of course, defeating Rita Repulsa, played by Elizabeth Banks. So it wasn't like anything new from the story. As far as the actual dialogue and characters, let's start with the characters. I actually think the 5 characters, the Red Ranger, Jason, Billy the Blue Ranger, Zach the Black Ranger, Trini the Yellow Ranger, and Kimberly the Pink Ranger. I actually think they're well-written characters for the intro to this type of universe. There was enough provided to where you were like, okay, I understand where these kids are coming from. I understand why they are in detention all the time, or I understand where their attitude kind of comes from, considering their backstory and whatnot. So I really appreciated the way they were written. Like I said, this is not a thespian movie where oh my God, Oscar nominations all across the board. No, it's like, for this type of movie, it was fine, and it really kind of gets you to love these characters even more and really kind of see them come together as a team and have that amazing chemistry, which is one of the things that we'll give praise on with this movie, is that they did a really good job capturing the chemistry between all 5 of them. I thought they all worked pretty well, and I like I said, all the actors that were part of it. We'll get into the acting in just a second. But I love the chemistry between all 5 of them. It actually worked out very well. I didn't think it would, but hey, fuck me, right? All right, so as far as writing goes, actual dialogue, I will admit some of it's pretty corny, but then again, this show is corny that it's based off of, but they wanted to go in a more serious route, which they kind of blended the two, and I was fine with it. Like, it was kind of like, okay, I understand, like, all the serious stuff. Like, it's actually acted pretty decently with the serious stuff. And then when it gets into the cheeseball stuff, like, it does work. So I didn't think there was, like, any tonal discrepancies or whatnot, or any shift in tone that was, like, totally uncalled for. I thought it actually blended very well. Because the thing with this movie, and you guys have to realize this, and when you see my score, you're like, why is this movie so high? If you can suspend your disbelief, this is actually a very fun movie. This is a crazy fucking movie. We have kids diving into canyons. We have them jumping across cliffs and fighting in dinosaur robot suits and fighting it against like a gold sludge monster. You have to suspend your disbelief. And if you can do that, you can forgive a lot of things. And like I said, I think the cheesiness and the dramatic stuff does work, but then there are some lines that are pretty hokey and don't really mix well with some of the acting, which we'll get to in just a second. But as far as directing goes, and as far as visual flair, I liked it. I liked the first 2/3 of it. I liked the kind of look of Angel Grove. I like some of the set pieces with like Zordon, and I actually like the design of their suits. I think it's nice and slick. It's more of a modern kind of, military type of suit. I think it looks really cool. So I do like the visual style of the film. A lot of people have a problem with the ending battle and the ending fight scene. It does get a little muddy in terms of the visual element, like the CGI and stuff. It does get a little too, like, CGI vomity-y. It's just kind of like thrown up all over the screen. You're like, there's just so much happening. It's like a Transformers film. So, but I still like the actual like color palette of some of the characters and whatnot. And, it is great to look at. This film is an easy watch. There's nothing like, draggy about it. I think it has the slower parts when it needs to be. I think it has the faster parts when it needs to be. So I think the overall direction is solid. Like, I don't think there's like anything inherently like awful about the directing. Maybe, like I said, some of the fight choreography towards the end, but other than that, it's like, hey, it's the Power Rangers movie. That was solid. A lot better than I expected. All right, moving on. Acting. Okay, so R.J. Seiler plays Billy the Blue Ranger. I thought he was the best part, and I thought he utilized his character's character's condition very well. I didn't think it was like overdone, and I thought it was just right, and really didn't make fun of people with this condition. It was just like, this is what he has, this is how he functions, and it actually made us care about him even more. And I thought R.J. Seiler was definitely the best part. I thought he had the best character hands down. As far as everyone else, now, I will say everyone's got their specific moments in the movie to really kind of showcase who their character is, what kind of pain and suffering they're going through as teenagers. I get all that. But some of the acting was pretty bad. In particular, the Red Ranger, Jason, Kimberly, and I would say the Yellow Ranger. Now, the Black Ranger, Zach, he was fine for the most part. I didn't really mind him, and I actually like, his whole motivation and doing what's good within him and whatnot, considering, his home life. And I thought, like I said, for the most part, the Red Ranger, Yellow Ranger, and Pink Ranger, they were fine, but they weren't like good. I think R.J. Seiler and the guy who played the Black Ranger, they were good. These three were fine, and like some of their line delivery was pretty fucking bad. Like it was so wooden. I was like, ooh, that's even bad. Just even like in terms of the cheese factor that this movie kind of portrays. So I think all three of them have their awful moments. Bryan Cranston's actually really good as Zordon. I actually bought into it. And I bought kind of like his presence and his kind of authoritative manner. I actually liked Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. I thought she was creepy, she was slimy, and kind of portrayed that villain. Now, as far as like overall villain development, it was very thin as well. Like, she has a motivation, she has her objective, she's going towards her objective. That's it. There's really nothing much more to her. So that is kind of a downfall, but we will probably see more of her in the future. Hopefully, if they make, all 6 of these movies that they promised. Let's see who else. Bill Hader actually plays the voice of Alpha 5, and he was not annoying. As much as I like the old show, Alpha 5 was pretty... That shit needs to stop. But Bill Hader provides kind of like that comfort in his voice to where you're like, oh, there's a robot talking, but it's Bill Hader, so he's not threatening at all. So I do actually kind of buy that. And I bought his voice throughout that. And I think that's it for the acting. Everyone else is whatever, but they're not the main focus. It's just that group of people. Cinematography-wise, like I said, I actually do like the first 2/3 of the movie, with the character development and building kind of this relationship between all 5 of them and really seeing their chemistry kind of work together on screen as it progresses. Because at first, they don't work together. And, as the movie goes on, they start to really kind of sew those threads of their friendship and, what their purpose is and really kind of get behind them and stuff. So I really like the way, like I said, some of the sets looked and just the way it is shot. It is shot like a very kind of like just swift movie. There's nothing really wasted. It's a very quick movie, and it's just some pretty interesting shots thrown in there and stuff. Now, the ending battle is where I have some of the issues. Now, some of the shots are cool, and trust me, as a Power Rangers fan, when they Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, listen, when they get into that shit and they start fighting, dude, you best believe, man, I was fucking pumping my fist. I was fucking ready. I was like, yes, show me all that. And some of the shots were cool. But I gotta take a step back. As a fan of this series, towards the end of the battle, there was visual noise. And it was really kind of hard to tell what was going on. It was just kind of really fast, kind of Transformers-like, where the camera was shaky and it would cut like every 2 seconds. That shit got annoying, and you couldn't really tell what the fuck was happening. So that is, I would say, like half of the battle towards the end, but then some of it was very well shot. So it's kind of a mixed bag in cinematography overall. Editing-wise and special effects, let's start with the special effects. I thought the special effects were good. I thought they were really good, actually. And I really like the practical effects that they used, whether they be on Rita Repulsa or the Power Rangers in their suits or Zordon with Bryan Cranston. The practical effects actually amazed me. I was like, okay, for this type of movie, this is pretty good. But when you're dealing with like this sci-fi, fantasy, superhero type of movie, you don't want to just have CGI all the time because then it'll just look, like I said, like, CGI vomit. But when you mix it in with practical effects and like, actual costumes and stuff, it looks cool. And if you can blend both of them together, I'm totally fine with that. And regardless of what I think of some of the fight scenes towards the end and some of the cinematography, I do like the CGI. I like when the Power Rangers are fully in motion with their suits. I like the Zords when they come together, Megazord, and create that giant robot and stuff. I thought that looked cool. The gold monster that they were fighting looked a little shitty, not gonna lie. I didn't really like kind of like that runny gold look to it. It kind of just looked like diarrhea. So, but other than that, the special effects are very well done. In Alpha 5, I thought he was gonna look like garbage. At first, it was a little jarring, but he kind of grew on me towards the end of the movie, so I was fine with it. And editing-wise, the movie's about a couple hours long. I don't think anything could have been shaved off in terms of, like, minutes or scenes or whatever. I actually thought it was a really well-paced movie, and it was really exciting when it needed to be, and it was a lot slower when it needed to be, but you were still kind of engaged because you were like, oh, man, what the hell is going to happen? But I think as an intro movie to this universe, I thought it was pretty well paced, and the ending battle scene, I will say, I like half enjoyed it, half didn't. But that one happened really, really fast, and the kind of fight against Rita Repulsa, it just happened so quickly. It was like the last 15 minutes of the movie, just kind of like it just happened so fast, and then the movie just ends. So that was kind of a problem. Yeah, I guess that was a problem with pacing as I talk about it. But for the most part, everything else was still kind of entertaining, and you really kind of do like these actors as these Rangers and whatnot. You kind of really get behind them and whatnot, making the movie more enjoyable. Guys, I enjoyed Power Rangers quite a bit. I think it's fucking solid. And another complaint on the music, they only played the fucking theme song once. What the shit is that? I wanted more Go Go Power Rangers. So that was embarrassing. All right, so My overall grade, I think it's a solid, fun movie. I'm actually looking forward to the sequels. I'm actually looking forward to all 6. Usually I have a problem with studios going, we got 8 movies lined up for story. When I hear that, I go, why don't you just concentrate on the first one first? After seeing this, I kind of want to see where this goes. I want to see who turns bad as a Ranger. I want to see who goes off and breaks off from the group. I want to see what other villains they fight. I am actually fucking interested in this franchise. I'm going to give the first Saban's Power Ranger, fuck you Saban for putting your name in there, I'm going to give it a solid B. So what did you guys think of the Power Rangers movie? Comment that place around my face and let me know. Hold on just a second. Something happened with my computer. Anyways, let me know down below what you thought of the Power Rangers movie and what you thought of Life. Just to recap, I gave Life a C+, and I'm giving Power Rangers a solid B. Despite me being fully acknowledged that there is many, many issues with it, I still had a lot of fucking fun with it. So that will be it for the episode, guys. There is no box office results, but I will say that Power Rangers opened up with $40 million this weekend, or this past weekend, and Life opened up with 12. Good on Power Rangers. Very bad on Life. It's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Power Rangers will probably have some legs, so that's awesome. But yeah, that will do it for this episode. Not this week's episode, because I still have one coming on Sunday. So speaking of that, episode 176 will happen on this Sunday, April 2nd. Normal time, normal day. It will be episode 176, and I will have Joel on, and we'll talk about the other pieces of news that I had written down, the rest of the trailers that I had written down, and our reviews of, drumroll please, The Boss Baby and Ghost in the Shell starring Ms. Scarlett Johansson. So that will be a fun episode, guys, and that will go up on Sunday like normal. And the following Sunday on a normal scheduled episode will be episode 177, and I will have my full coverage and all the movies I review of the 2017 Dallas International Film Festival. Anyways, guys, that will do it for this episode 175. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's @RealChaseLee. Subscribe to my YouTube page, follow on Spreaker, follow on iTunes, rate, review, spread this shit around and go tell your friend, like, it's a pretty decent podcast. I think you'll have a pretty decent listen. But anyways, I really do appreciate everything you guys do in terms of listening and sharing it around and downloading it and stuff. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys keep me going and make me want to do this for you guys. So yeah, I really do appreciate it. And hey, listen, if you made it through this entire movie podcast and you're not a movie fan, well, hopefully I convinced you to be one. I'm Chase Lee. This has been another episode of Real Me and Colin, a movie podcast. Peace out, everyone. See you on Sunday for a normal episode where I'm going to talk about The Boss Baby and try not to throw up all over my microphone. That's pretty much it. I'm going to just end it there. Intro and outro music, Fervent Roze. Links in the description below. Every link in the description below. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye. See you on Sunday.